Coming from a European urban middle class, at the end of the age of abundance, I would say that my expectations of Indonesia were filtered through the tourist image of Bali, but educated in political and economic geography and in economics, and having travelled in Asia before, the method of development, chaotic urbanisation, the sheer density of people and the noise was no surprise. After India, neither was the heat or pollution. Indonesia brought to mind immediately two things: deforestation and Bali. I was aware, of course, of the play that Indonesia had gone through, pulled and pushed between the East and the West, and of course of its colonisation and relentless resource extraction by the Dutch via the Dutch East Indies Company founded in 1602. I had a general sense too that, like Ireland, its people were being offered a menu of progress called materialism, economic growth in capitalist terms, and modernisation with lip service paid to the value of the earth herself, or to the rest of life on it. Of course, it's a much more complicated story. I'd forgotten that Indonesia is a majority Muslim country, but isn't an Islamic state. I knew that it had a huge cultural and social diversity, with the biodiversity to match, and that, like Ireland, its founding fathers had struggled and died for independence and tolerance of difference. In the world today, one of the greatest changes before our eyes is the destruction of the forests. Indonesia surpassed Brazil in the speed of forest destruction in 2012, and this primarily is being driven by huge profits for a select few, both in the West and there in Asia. And though this is affecting the lives of millions of people there directly, it seems that people here are only waking up to the significance of the damage, the priceless biodiversity loss and climate change emissions involved in the preparation of plantations for palm oil or paper. Ireland, of course, has long lost its own temperate rainforest. I cannot stop deforestation, but going there I knew I could at least record it. I knew Harrison Ford had made a powerful film about palm oil in Indonesia, and that he confronted the Minister of Forestry there for what you, my audience, in the decades ahead will see as absolutely criminal, and you may hate us all for it. But I think you will be wiser in the future of our world. Try not to hate us. We are a confused humankind. New leadership has not yet emerged because the system dependent on environmental destruction isn't broken yet. Many make material gain from it. And though we know of the consequences, still media control much of the discourse of our time. The value shift is slow. But I can tell you there are a growing number of people who do not understand why individuals or organisations with power don't buy the forests or compensate the Indonesian people for the loss of not farming palm oil for shampoo and chocolate consumed in the West. Hasn't there really got to be a gigantic redistribution of income on the planet if the damage is to be stopped? As of the middle of 2018, I still hadn't made it to the forest, but I did to the real Indonesia, or at least the real Indonesia to me, a tropical island. And there I found someone that made me want to tell this story. We flew, Lucia and I, to Mataram, the capital of Lombok, took a taxi to the port and a ferry across to the Gili Islands. Set between Gili Tarwangan and Gili Air is the quietest and ecologically most undisturbed Gili Meno. Gili means island. Here only electric mopeds are allowed to preserve the quiet. There are no cars. Bicycles and horse and cart are typical. The island is surrounded completely by a white sand and coral beach, backed by a tree line, and holds a small lake which I think is fresh water. "400 or so Indonesian people live on the island. They have been witness to a rapidly developing tourism, largely based on beachfront accommodation and restaurants, tourism development has been tasteful, but much of this development has come with money from outside, and the locals are not at ease with what they are seeing. Their peaceful island is transforming in front of them. There is, along the shoreline, close to where you first arrive, a turtle conservation sanctuary, and it is at the heart of the paradox concerning tourist development on Gili Meno. But also that paradox raises very big questions about development in general, how it's defined, misdefined across the world. We need to remind ourselves that those who often use the word forget to preface the word with what they really mean, which is economic development. You see, the tourists come to Gili Meno for the quality of the environment, the beauty and the quietness, for the diving, to see the array of tropical fish, and to see the turtles. But in providing for tourists and for a growing tourist market across the islands, the Gili Islands, a very shoreline central to the turtles' egg laying and to the tourist experience is in danger, threatened by insensitive development. Ironically, the turtle sanctuary raises all of its funding through donations by tourists, who are central to the case for environmental preservation and also to the well-being of the local people. So you're cleaning the pool?
I clean the pool is twice a day. After feeding, he must to clean the water. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the feeding every 2 hours.
Every 2 hours?
Yes.
With raw fish?
With any kind of fish, sardine, tuna, barracuda, any kind of fish, but make chop smaller.
Okay. So how old are these?
This one around 4 months, 5 months, yeah.
And this is the flatback turtle?
Yeah, it's flat back, and then the small one is a green turtle.
Green turtle here?
Yeah, it's a green turtle.
And there are 5 turtles native to the Gili Islands?
Yeah, the green turtle, hawksbill, flatback, loggerhead, and green sea turtle.
Green sea turtle.
Yeah.
Okay. So these ones are the ones that come to the beach, that the mother comes to the beach and she lays these eggs?
Yeah.
Okay.
They come like 6 times once a year.
6
they can
times?
Make one time like 100, 150 eggs one time.
In the rainy season?
In the rain season.
That's from September to February?
Yeah. Because the problem here, the local hunting the egg around the island.
Right.
Every turtle coming, people hunting
Okay.
for eating or share to other people.
Right.
And I try to buy the egg from the local people to save them.
Right.
Because I make this sanctuary around like nearly 20 years already.
20 years?
Yeah, I'm working alone here.
Right.
No people, no government.
No help from the government?
No, only tourists come here to help me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I hope that next time the government come to help for the turtle of Gili Meno.
Yeah. Yeah. So you need, what would be the biggest way of help for you?
I need because I need like maybe more full, because we have like this time maybe we have like more than 700 baby turtle. I need a more full tanks.
So you need bigger tanks?
Yeah, and,
Okay.
the pond to take the water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
For feeding every day, of course. Yeah.
Okay. So really what you need is money, investment?
Yeah, yes.
For the conservation of the turtles?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hopefully this will help.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah. Okay. And okay, a little bit about you. So you're from this island, Gili Meno.
I'm from Gili Meno. I born in Gili Air, but I lived here when I kid.
Right.
Like many years ago.
Okay.
With my parents here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Bolong. Sorry, from Gili Meno.
Okay. So what was it that attracted you to the idea of saving the turtles? Why the turtle?
Yeah, because I looked from many years ago that nobody care of the turtle. So I looked the situation here. Before I do like this, very less turtle. You can snorkeling, maybe you see 1 or 2 turtle. But when I'm starting to make a sanctuary to save them, we can see everywhere. You can see the turtle. Right. So it's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. The return of the turtles has benefited all the islanders. Local or Jakarta government has given no help to this unique effort led by this man.
I think about the future because 20 years later, if nobody care of turtle, there will be no turtle. So why I make like this. So starting from now, you can see everywhere. You can see turtle. You can people make diving, snorkeling trip. They can see turtle. Every tourist come here, they see the turtle in Gili Meno.
We walked on along the sandy shoreline track and stopped at a beach restaurant we knew sold very good cold watermelon drinks. There was an American, 30-something, in a grey t-shirt that stretched around him like a dress, bell-shaped in this quiet restaurant, and on video call to someone he was enthusing about the opportunity for development he felt the island had, this little island, Gili Meno. His idea of development. I thought we would be asked to play a role in some promo shown somewhere as part of a pitch, and a scouter for investment he was. I'm here to bring investment, he said. Investment for who, I asked. The view of tourist development, outside driven, top down, for profit maximisation, using cheap labour of the island people and their home, their island, for the gain of the already financially rich, was antagonistic to me. Investment for development, he said. Development for who, I asked. He replied, have you seen the way some people live on this island? In there in the centre. These people need jobs. Jobs, enslavement in your economy for your profit, I thought. But I said, jobs to smile at Western tourists that give nothing back to them, using their island and destroying the ecology and the quietness of it. He was taken aback. And then I asked, did you meet the guy owning the turtle sanctuary? I asked if he knew that he gets no help from the government. I told him his view of development would destroy the island and bring an end to the ecotourism potential of the place. That tourist development should be under the control of the local people and exercised with great respect towards the beauty of Gili Meno. I said, you can't have turtles, hotels and powerboating. I don't know what time will do to Gili Meno, but I hope to all of you lucky enough to go there, that you will at least support conservation of the natural environment, and that you will support that man that puts so much of his life into the turtle conservation. With ecological tourism, everyone is a winner. We walked on. The American left first, along that white sandy track, ringing the beautiful little island. And we came upon a sight which we didn't really want to see. The tree line along a length was being eaten into by saws and hard-working men. Two senior men approached, and in that pleasant conversation, the Hoff, famously known as Knight Rider, Hasselhoff and Meyer, were mentioned as financing the project, which would lead to the construction of 80 accommodation units. Top-down tourist development. The locals or the island would truly see little benefit from. And just beyond was this. Joni Mitchell's song came to mind. The conversation with the American begged a response to this enormous cost of investor-led tourism, heavy in concrete and light in imagination, sharp on cost and poor on wealth creation or distribution. Imagine putting concrete on a beach in paradise.